Oh, I can get to. Okay. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So if you go up here to the top, you go to registration for anyone who wants to register, and then just click to register. That's about it. All right. So it's very simple. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, let's start by introducing yourselves and where you're from again, just in case. Let me see. There's a couple. Seth wasn't with us yesterday. I guess Seth's the only person who wasn't here yesterday. So, but we'll just go right down the list and go ahead and register and introduce yourself and where you're from. Rayanne, you want to start?
I'm Marianne Connor, and I am from Jacksboro, Texas.
And Damien?
I am Damien Lister, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Great. Elizabeth?
I am Lisbeth Garcia, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. Ashley?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. Daniel? Daniel put in the chat box, he's Daniel and Brown, and he's from Milwaukee also. Hold on, I'm gonna change my phone. Seth? And Seth is from Lake Holcomb, Wisconsin. So, and Seth, once we get going, you weren't here yesterday to hear this, but we're going to connect some of the advanced Ready Campers with the new Ready Campers, and we will have you help to mentor everyone, okay? All right, did I get everyone? Brian and John, you want to introduce yourselves just in case anyone hasn't learned who you are? And I see Pam is in the back with Brian, so go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, I'm Brian Goodman. I'm just an advisor from the Lake Holcomb Ready Camp for many years. And Pam.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pam Goodman, Brian's wife, and I'm a nurse as well with MJ. And I am intermittently going to be popping in and out.
Good. Awesome. John? Or John said he had to step away, so he might not be here right now. So, okay, sounds good. Well, we're going to get started here today with psychological first aid. So I'm going to share my screen here. And this is very near and dear to my heart because I find it very useful to be able to help others during disaster and during emergency situations. I didn't mention what my background was. I was an emergency department nurse for 28 years, and then I went to the primary care, the clinic, which you'll learn more about during the healthcare week. If you're interested in going into healthcare, we would love to have you join us. Then I'm back at the hospital now as a nurse educator and professional development specialist. So yeah, and I am actually part of the peer support team for the whole hospital system. And so like we started this with COVID, and just to help people to be able to cope with everything related to COVID. So we actually do rounds and we meet with people individually to help them to cope with this. And last year during Ready Camp, we actually connected with the Hope Squad and working on psychological first, or on suicide prevention, and just creating a positive culture in your schools and in your communities and your homes and everything too. And so psychological first aid actually goes with that. And in the email today that you received, John had put the link to a great resource through Harvard University. And so it's amazing that they are offering this for free right now, because usually you have to pay quite a bit to take this psychological first aid course. And so I would really encourage anyone who is interested in this area to really take that course for free. And if you do, and complete it and let us know about that, then you will receive, again, a gift card related to that, because we really need to learn to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. And so that's a very, very important skill to learn throughout this. And I like to start this off, especially for Ready Camp, with a story from one of our previous camp counselors. She helped out from the beginning with Ready Camp, and she's now a teacher in the Madison School District. And anyway, a couple of their students, as they were leaving for school a few years ago, were hit by a car. And just they experienced lots of different traumatic injuries. And so Mackenzie actually went out to help with these students until the ambulance arrived and all of the responders. And she talked about how she learned about, basically psychological first aid through Ready Camp. And even though it was many years since she had attended Ready Camp, she remembered a lot of the things that we had talked about. And so that helped her through the situation, because it was really, really difficult as a teacher to be able to respond and see all of the terrible injuries that her students had experienced with that. And they were actually in the intensive care unit for quite a long time. Thankfully, both girls have recovered and have gone home. And so, but anyway, there's, so P for psychological first aid is really preparing yourself and preparing others, really having a focus of what's needed in an emergency situation, and then being active and really participating and connecting with other people. So I'm going to share with you this video on YouTube. There's actually lots of videos, but this really explains the program the best. And I think I've got to share my screen here.
From hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes,
Can everyone see it?
to a fire down the block.
No.
Whenever a traumatic
No.
event happens, whether it's a citywide disaster or a personal tragedy, there's one thing we always know for certain.
Whoops.
Trauma does affect
Hold
the
on a minute.
survivors.
Nope.
You can't see it?
Seems obvious, right?
Now we can.
Now you can? Okay, I'll start it over.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry.
From hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, to a fire down the block. Whenever a traumatic event happens, whether it's a citywide disaster or a personal tragedy, there's one thing we always know for certain. Trauma does affect the survivors. Seems obvious, right? Sure, especially if you think in terms of physical injury, but what's not as clear is the psychological damage that can occur after a traumatic event. But today's experts agree that psychological first aid, or PFA, is a critical part of any disaster recovery effort. So to help us understand PFA and how it works, Dr. Nicoletta Boukidis from the Chicago Department of Public Health explains.
Most of PFA's concepts should not appear new to you. If you have experience and are good at dealing with people in intense crises, you will find that Psych First Aid is a great resource because it identifies those key elements that you have probably used over the years while you go about performing your duties as you support people when terrible things happen to them. Whether a crisis impacts only one individual and their family, or large communities in cases of mass disasters, PFA is a set of actions and attitudes that offers the kind of support which assists survivors in their ability to rebound and recover. Helping survivors as soon as possible to address their basic needs could reduce their distress and, in turn, the likelihood of bad mental health consequences. Following a devastating event that has overwhelmed the individual's ability to handle the situation, survivors may wonder, what do I need to do? How can I get better? How can you help by applying Psych First Aid? Here are some basic tips. First, connect with survivors. Engage them in general conversation. Listen carefully. Take your cues from them to determine the help they need. Begin by addressing the basics first. The physical needs they may have, like need for medication, food, hydration. Following this, help them by focusing on their basic mental health needs to feel safe and secure. Who are they worried about? Hook survivors up with their social support sources, their friends, family, community. Information is power. Offer credible information, suggestions on services that could help them now and later to best meet their needs. What is not helpful is telling people to calm down or that everything will be okay. Instead, being a presence that is compassionate, calm, could assist survivors who are in distress to bring down their revved up system so they can take care of themselves and get through tough times. It is expected that most people experience higher than normal levels of stress after a traumatic event. Psych First Aid acknowledges that this is common. PFA also helps you notice those survivors with extreme reactions who could benefit from extra attention by referring them to a professional mental health provider. Assisting them in receiving this extra care could prevent their situation from getting worse. And remember, the best way to take care of others is to take care of yourself.
So now we know the fundamentals, but why is psychological first aid so important? Well, at any disaster site, there'll be survivors who are confused, frustrated, or angry. That's natural. But according to studies, if we disregard serious distress, 1 in 4 survivors could develop long-term mental health issues, depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. Responding with PFA immediately can help avoid these problems. Now, it's one thing to understand the principles, but actually using PFA in the field, well, that's a different story. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Becky and I'm on staff here. I'm just checking up on people. How are you doing? Do you have a place to stay tonight?
The doctor said I'm okay, but no, I don't know where I'm staying. My apartment's gone.
I'm so sorry. It was a terrible fire, but you're safe now. Tell me a little more. Do you have family close by?
My family's in Texas. I have no clothes. Where am I going to stay?
Let's walk down the hall. See these folks over there? They've got snacks, drinks, even some clean clothes. They can help you start looking for a place to stay. Here. You ready?
Okay, thanks.
Protect, listen, calm, connect, direct. Seems pretty straightforward, right? But it's not always so easy to let a survivor take the lead, even if you mean well. So now let's take a quick look at what not to do.
Hi, I'm Samantha. Everything okay here?
No, I'm not bad, but I don't know where I'm gonna stay. My apartment's gone.
Calm down. I know how you must feel.
Really? Did your house just go up in flames?
Relax. It's gonna be okay.
Please go away.
Really? You sure?
Just go.
Okay.
Of course, every situation is different. The key is to listen, offer comfort, and practical help. You want to avoid miscommunication and reduce stress. Remember, a disaster can strike an entire population or just one individual. It can happen anytime, any place at all. But if you're prepared with a background in psychological first aid, you'll be ready.
Okay. So with that, I wanted just wanted to ask everyone to share either verbally or in the chat box any emergency situation or even with COVID, how you have had experiences and how you've been able to either protect people or listen, if you've had a chance to calm others, or connect or direct. Go ahead and share your comments with that then. We'll just learn from each other here for a little bit. Whoops. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm just trying to find the chat box, that's all. Oh. All right, Brian, could you read the chat box? Any responses? Or anyone can turn off your...
It says, Rayanne says, I haven't had any. And Elizabeth says, me neither, Ashley. So it's mostly they don't have any.
Haven't had any, huh? Okay. All right. Well, then you're lucky. Many of our Ready Campers have been the first person at the scene when something happens, like when their family member has a medical emergency or gets injured, or a car accident or tornadoes or anything like that. So this is going to help you if you would have that in the future. And so, so these are just the things to remember, that you always want to work with a team. And you're going to hear that all throughout Ready Camp, that we want you to have a buddy system. Always have another person with you through everything emergency or disaster wise. We want to protect people from harm as much as possible, and so getting them to a safe area. And next week, I believe, or no, not next week, but the week after, during the fire safety program, you're going to learn about how to rescue people from a dangerous situation and to move them from one place to the next. Be calm and compassionate. I can't say this enough, because how you respond, we always have to think about and develop those skills to keep as calm as possible, and really to be compassionate and understand where the other person is coming from. Listen, that is a skill that is really important to develop, that we listen to each other and listen to understand is what I like to say a lot of times, is trying to really focus on what a person is saying. Having respect for culture and diversity. We know that that is a huge issue right now also. And so we really want to respect other people, and knowing that they have differences than we do, and really respecting them for those differences is really important. As a nurse, I've encountered this so many times. We want to give clear and reliable information, and many of our campers have done different community projects related to this, that they've connected to, what are the resources in your community. And that would be very good for you to work on, especially as you go back to school and everything, is to really learn about what resources are out there. And right now in the COVID season and stuff, we've learned that a lot of resources that otherwise would cost money are free. And so that's why, like I mentioned, the Harvard University program it usually costs a lot of money, but it's free for right now. So we should take advantage of that. And then helping the survivors help themselves, however we can do that. Because also, when we help others, it helps us too. So, so it helps you as a person. You have to know your limits though, and put boundaries on yourself and take care of yourself. That is really, really important. And I always say that you can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself. And so that is really, really important. So the core actions of psychological first aid as you go through the program is going to be, you're going to connect and engage. You saw in the video how the nurse went up, or whoever that person was. It could be a worker, somebody in their community. It could be someone at the school. But basically connecting and engaging. So at school, if you see that someone is having a really difficult time, or in your community also, or even in your family, just connecting with them. And we know for a fact that just that connection is really important and stuff. So I want to stop here and ask, how are you guys connecting? How is everyone connecting during physical distancing and through the COVID pandemic? How have you found it valuable to connect with each other? So feel free to read them off, Brian. Oops, you're muted, Brian.
I'm sorry, MJ.
That's okay.
We've been communicating a lot by Zoom and all different kinds of things during this. I'm actually a responder for the American Red Cross. When there's a fire or those kind of things in the area, we do go meet with some of the people that we call clients that have had that tragedy of losing their house to a fire and those kind of things. So I do have some experience with that, but it's really hard because you have to really think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. I think the video did a really nice job of telling you, what not to say. And a lot of times it goes with experience, but I think that after a while you learn that, and it's a hard thing when you're dealing with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any comments in the chat box?
Yeah, there are some. Damien, he had his tornado hit his place and but it didn't hit their house, but it was close by, so he could share that if you wanted to.
Yeah, go ahead, Damien. Unmute and share with us.
So, one time I was by my dad's in Fremont. Since we're in the country, it's tornado season. I think it was like last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tornado super close, like it was across the street from us. My dad, my brother, sister, my stepmom, and we all had to go down into the basement, and I had to help my brother Colton calm down because he was having so much anxiety that he wouldn't go downstairs.
Mhm.
So I had to calm him down. When he calmed down, he went down. We finally were able to get downstairs. Then, just then, Dad got the alert that the tornado was actually super close to our house. And when it passed, everybody was glad that it didn't hit us and it didn't hit any house, which was actually pretty good.
Mhm.
And that's actually one thing that I had to do.
Mhm. Well, good. Thank you for doing that. I'm sure your brother appreciated it and felt, a lot better with you connecting and engaging with them. Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Anyone else have some examples? Okay. All right. Next is safety and comfort. So as you saw in the video, the person who was helping the other person brought a bottle of water. Just simple things like that are really important to help them. So, providing that comfort, and the person needs to know that they're safe. And so getting them to a safe place, or like in Damien's situation, he had to comfort his brother and help him to realize that it was the safest place to go to the basement during the tornado. And you're going to learn a lot about safety in tornadoes and everything throughout this program. So next is stabilization, and we just basically talk through things and listen again for that information gathering. We also want to listen and get as much information as possible. I like to tell about one time I was helping one of the schools, and there was a fire that happened in the boiler room, which was right next to the second grade classroom. And anyway, I had talked with the school. I was helping them with their emergency preparedness plan. And then they responded back later. So the people on their school response team, after that fire, which was really, really small, they actually connected and listened to all the second graders who were next to that boiler room. And they were thinking, since it was such a small fire, that, oh, no big deal. But when people don't know what actually is happening, your mind goes 1,000 miles a minute, and you think things are a lot worse than what they are. And so as they listened to the second graders, they found out that, they thought it was a huge fire, because they had to leave their, they knew that it was right next to their classroom, and they had to leave the building and go outside. So they had assumed, the second graders assumed, that it was a great big huge fire, but it wasn't. It was just a small fire. But what would have happened if no one would have talked to those second graders? They would have kept it in their mind that that was a really huge fire. And so it's really important, as the video said, to really connect with people as soon as possible, so that they don't have, those things going through their mind as to what happened with this situation. So does anyone have any questions related to that?
MJ's on the answers to some of them, during this COVID thing, a lot of them are putting that they use Zoom, they use Google Meets, they use Messenger, they use FaceTime, use texting, all those kind of things to, get in touch and keep in touch with their family and loved ones and that kind of thing. So that's an important thing during this COVID thing, where we can't, talk to someone like we'd like to.
Yeah, It is. It's really important, and really important to really connect with, like those people, like your grandparents and others too, because they may not have the technology that you do, and sometimes it's just a simple phone call. And so really connecting with them is really important. And that's why they changed the wording. It used to be social distancing. We want to socially connect, but we want to physically distance. And so I like that wording a lot better than the social distancing, because we don't want to social distance. We want to keep connected as much as possible. And Pam, jump in anytime, because Pam works in this area all the time.
I was just going to share with all of you that this spring, when COVID hit, my nursing students typically are out in the community setting, and we were working with the Aging and Disability and Resource Center, which is an area within the health departments, usually in a courthouse, where their focus is really to help people who have various abilities, and especially for people who tend to be over the age of 60, 65 and in there. And so when COVID hit, my students weren't able to continue on their specific project in the way that we had anticipated. But what was kind of a really cool thing was they were asked to help call over 300 older people who were, kind of stuck in their homes, just like all of us were. And they never really shared with me at the time that when I said, yes, we're going to do this project, this is an excellent project. But they were a little bit worried that people may not be happy with them calling. And it was so cool to see how even nursing students who are almost seniors in nursing school find out that all of the people that they called were so grateful that there was a nursing student who had taken the time and the energy and the effort just to call to check on them. So that was a really pleasant experience for the students. And in fact, one of my students said, I never really thought about my grandparents. And when MJ mentioned grandparents, that was kind of one of the aha moments too for one of my nursing students. And so that connection and that hearing of a human voice on the other end, and that somebody even younger was willing to make a phone call and take time out of their busy day to call somebody who was older, was really a positive experience for nursing students.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. So the next core action is physical assistance. So helping the person as much as possible, getting them food, trying to get them a sandwich if that's available. Amy talked about it yesterday about, you guys had a question about why a stuffed animal would be in your emergency response kit. And this is why, that might be assistance for a child to have a stuffed animal. So if you have children in the area, having toys, games, stuffed animals, those types of things. And then connecting with social supports. So again, an example of this is you're at school and somebody is really distraught and really upset, trying to connect them with their best friend, trying to find that best friend that can, and asking them, just coming right out and asking them, who can I get that, you can talk to, who can I help you connect with so that you feel better with that. And so that's what that is. And then information on coping. Again, if you want to work on, Amy went through this week the format for the community project, right? And so if anyone works on projects, again, an opportunity to earn a gift certificate. If you put together a plan for a project, and especially if you involve a few people, because we want you to join together to do this versus doing it by yourself, because it's always more fun to do it with other people than to do it on yourself. But you could actually, find out in your area what information is there for coping, and there's lots of different websites and resources. John posted to our website on the resource page lots of different resources also. Whoops. And I'm gonna just share a different screen and go back to the website if I can. Let's see. Oh boy. How did I do that? Well, we'll do it at the end. We'll go through the website. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that yes, there is an app for psychological first aid that you can download on your phone. And so this is what it looks like in the App Store. And it's really a cool app to have. Amy went through some of the disaster apps for Red Cross and everything yesterday. But when you download the app, this is what you will see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I didn't goof it up. So you can see here that on the first screen is the first on the left, and it's about learn about psychological first aid. So it'll take you through all of the different things, and this is free. It'll take you through the core actions, which is the middle screen here. That was all of the things that I talked about. It'll talk to you about survivor stress reactions, and you can see on the right side that has all of the information related to that. So there's something related to adults, adolescents, to school age, preschool age, and infants and toddlers. So you can help your whole family by going to this app. And then there's survivor needs form there. You may not, actually use that, but provider self-care. So that is how to take care of yourself. And so it gives you lots of different ideas to do that. And then various resources. So there's links to different resources there. And interrupt me at any time if there are questions, okay? And then I got this from, it's called Schwartz Center for Resilience and for Compassionate Care. And I thought this was really great to connect with people during COVID-19. And so this is an excellent resource for all those questions that you can connect with. And after I brought this up at a meeting, our social workers and also our chaplains at the hospital started to, they actually created a little card that they could put in their pocket so that when they encountered anyone who was in distress, that they could go through these questions. And you can do this. It doesn't have to be quarantine, or it doesn't need to be COVID. It can be any time. But asking the person, what are you grateful for today? So this leads back to our 3 good things exercise each day. And then who are you checking in on and connecting with today? Promoting other people to connect with other people also will help them. And so promoting them to check in on other people too. And then what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? Because nothing's normal. There's not very much that's normal today, but it is really important also to keep routines as much as possible. And so, but we have to live in something with disasters and stuff. And you'll find out in the psychological first aid course, we always say that it's an abnormal situation and you're having a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. And that's what we're all going through right now with COVID and quarantine and all of this stuff. And then how am I getting outside? We know for a fact that nature helps us to cope with different things. And so getting outside as much as possible is really important to help your well-being. And so really trying to get outside, enjoy nature. And I just attended another session, and they talked about if you're not able to, like I'm in the hospital all day, and so I'm not able to get outside, but it's really important to have nature things around you. So having something green is really important, or, you know, even having a picture of nature and just a few seconds of that nature is really important to helping your well-being and stuff. So Pam, did you want to add something? She's just helping Brian, I think. Okay. And then moving your body. So, you know, exercise is great. And so whatever you can do to move, even walking or anything, you know, I park, you know, during COVID, I park as far away as I can from the hospital so that I have a long walk to get to the hospital, especially now that the weather's been nice and everything, and you can get that exercise that way. And I'm trying to, you know, make it a purposeful that I walk from different places of the hospital to the other side and try to, you know, get your body moving as much as possible. And then think to yourself, what beauty am I either creating, cultivating, or inviting today? And we do this all the time. We create beauty in the world all the time, but how are you doing that? You have to consciously think about how you're doing that. And so if you could keep those questions in mind, that would be great. So, and anyone have any situations where you've used any of these questions or that you found it to be helpful? Any of these items? Go ahead and share in the chat, or you can unmute yourself too. That's fine.
Connecting with, I always ask, who am I connecting with?
Good.
Like, whenever we do this, I'm always wondering, who are we having?
Excellent, Damien. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so just connecting today was very, very helpful for me too. So just have to say that I'm so thankful that all of you are on the call and stuff, because our family is going through a really difficult time right now. And so it really helps to connect with all of you today. So just have to let you know that I'm very, very thankful for doing that. And Amy sent a form that, and there's lots of them online. And this morning I was dealing with so many things with my family that I didn't get to actually save it and bring it up, but it's called, you can Google Habit Tracker. So like your 3 good things activity that you're doing, trying to track that on a regular basis. So we know that if you do something for 21 days in a row, then it sometimes will become a habit. And so a lot of these habit trackers have, for a whole month, you would track your good habit that you've been doing, and then you learn from that too. And so we'll have John post that habit tracker, and feel free to go to the website, and if you find a better one, feel free to do that. But we'll have John post that on the website so that you can do that. It's just basically boxes. I've got it right here if you can see it. So it's just boxes that you fill out what you did each day for really good things and how you've connected with people and things. And then I like to, you know, do this. I like this quote from Dr. Seuss. I use it in different presentations that I give too. So you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. And I just love that, because we all have mountains. Everybody does. Everyone has mountains to do. Yeah, Damien, I see you clapping.
MJ, Ashley and Damien also say that they always ask what you are grateful for today. And I think that, that's a good thing to, maybe in your habit thing, do you ask every day what you're grateful for? And Elizabeth says the same thing. So that's important.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's very important. And it's important to keep it in perspective, because, something may happen that's really, really difficult to deal with. And, it's really important to concentrate on the positive, because that's how we get through things. Bad things happen to all of us, but we need to get through them, and that's how we do it, is through that connection and really thinking, because your mind can play tricks on you, and so we really want to keep that positive focus.
And Damien also shares that he likes to do it when he goes to bed at night, and I think that is an important time, because it kind of settles you down, and you think about the things you've done, what you're grateful for that day. Maybe it wasn't the best day, but things could always have been worse. So it makes you feel better just before you go to bed.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It helps you sleep too. It really helps you sleep. So that's it with that. And then I am going to, whoop, there goes my video again. All right, I'm going to try to get to the website again to go through the resources that are there. Let's see. Okay. So, and if you find really good resources that you think would be really good, let us know, because we will post them to here. And so John has started, he talked about this the other day a little bit, but you can connect with us through all of the social media things. But right down here, free mental health and resilience resources, and we'll keep adding them as we are aware of them. So there's this Youth Thrive, promoting youth, and this is from the Center for Study of Social Policy. There's all kinds of different activities there. Building resilience in children dealing with trauma. And this is the link to that, and it's through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which they have lots and lots of resources there that you can get information. Resilience, resilience and child traumatic stress. Can you see my
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I just thought of that. So resilience and child traumatic stress, this is the one, they actually have a psychological first aid course on there too. That is free, but I like the John Hopkins one's better because it's got more videos and stuff like that, but this is really good too. And then Resilience Guide for Parents and Teachers. This is from the American Psychological Association, which has tons of resources also. And then specific to African American children and adolescents, there's a resource here for that, again, through the American Psychological Association in resilience there. And so these are all research-based. And then ways to bolster resilience in LGBTQ youth. That's very important also. And then the Melissa Institute, I don't know why that's doing that. Melissa Institute for Violence Prevention and Treatment. And so this is a nonprofit that deals with this, with helping youth also. And then mental health resources here for adolescents and young adults through the Society of Adolescent and Health Medicine. And so there's lots of things there, as well as the Center for Young Women's Health and Young Men's Health. And so you can go to those resources there. Here's a crisis text line. So if you have friends who are, you know, in a really tough situation and they need to talk to a crisis counselor, you can text that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that number is 741-741. So they made it easy to remember. And then there's a suicide prevention hotline too. That's again staffed by counselors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so you can let people know about that. And then the bottom resource here is stopbullying.gov. And this is through the Health Services and Resources Administration. It's kind of like Amy's organization, only it's health. And a good friend of mine actually helped with the initial building of all of those resources that are there for youth. So, like I said, if you find other things, let us know. And we are also going to, I know on the agenda it said QPR training. We'll build that in on another week because there was just so much with psychological first aid that we didn't have, we don't have enough time to go through both. So QPR is question, persuade, and respond, and that is for like suicide prevention. And so we'll go through that another time, and there is an opportunity to again get a certificate. You can get certified in QPR, and again at this time during COVID, it's free, where otherwise you have to pay for it. So we'll get that link to you too, that you could do that if you're interested in it. All of Ready Camp is related, you know, it's basically whatever you're interested in doing. And so with that, just reminders also to complete your introductions if you haven't done that yet, to complete the pre-test, your 3 good things activities, and the t-shirt contest. So feel free to post in the Flipgrid all of those activities. Okay, so any questions before we end the call? Or any comments, any suggestions? So tomorrow's going to be another fun day. Amy's going to be back, and we're going to talk about the, whoa, I don't know what's going on with my screen, but messed up. Oh, there it goes. But anyway, we're going to talk about the different opportunities that are available for you to get involved with, like FEMA through the AmeriCorps, as well as FEMA Corps, and there's lots of different opportunities to get involved with FEMA on a national level or a regional level or a state level, doesn't matter. So, any questions?
I have a question. When are the t-shirts due?
3rd week. I forgot what the date of that was. I have it listed in one of my, here, I can just, the end of the 3rd week. So let's see here, of Ready Camp. So, oh, right around July 4th. So if you can have it done by July 4th, that would be great. And then just upload your t-shirt design, and involve like the virtual Ready Camp, however you want to, anything related to that. And then we're going to have some of our leaders at the state level. They will be our judges. Okay. And then we'll have a t-shirt made for virtual Ready Camp. And This is the other one that you will receive. So, but it's a dark blue color, I think. So that it will be. So, yeah. Any other questions before we leave today?
One more question. Is there like a link to like the website where we can make the t-shirts, or is it our own choice?
Yeah, you can make it up yourself, but then if you go to, since I'm on the web page here, I'll show you. If you go to Camper Corner, it's up here. Click on that. And then I believe, let's see here. So here's the click for the pre-test and then the welcome. Maybe John doesn't have it up there yet. Otherwise, let me see. So if you download the agenda too, that has the links for the Flipgrids in that. And so here's 3 good things, Flipgrid, and your welcome, your introduction. And I think he did one for the t-shirts. Maybe not. So let's see here. Yeah, so we'll have him post that to, let me see, FEMA play post it. So that's for tomorrow. But yeah, we'll have him develop a Flipgrid for our, I know he has it developed, so we just need to get it out to you. Or did it come across in the one of the emails this week when he sent out the email information? Did it for the poster? Okay, so
Yeah, it did.
I'll have him send it out by email again, the link to the Flipgrid for that. Okay, so yeah, you can make it in any format, either, you know, a Word document or a PDF or, you know, a photo type of thing. So feel free to do that. Use your artistic abilities, okay? Anything else from anyone? Okay. All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow then, okay? 1 o'clock.
Okay, thanks, MJ.
Thank you. See you then.
Hope everything works out with your dad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, everything's going quickly here. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Take care.
You too.
Yep. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.